Hello and welcome to Mama T Energy. I'm Tiara, aka Mama T, and I invite you on a journey to loving your life through stories, channeled messages, and energy work. I love life, and it is my mission to guide you and millions like us to discovering our passion for life. Let's open our hearts and dive in. Today, we are featuring Meghan Lee, who is the founder of Presence Media, a digital agency that supports visionary leaders in creating an online presence of impact while preserving their most precious resource, their state of presence. As a digital marketing strategist and online business mentor, Meghan has been behind the scenes of multiple 6 and 7 figure visionary personal brands, creating movements that impact millions. Meghan is most passionate about reintegrating feminine principles into business, supporting founders in accessing their natural creative potential, and working with modern and ancient technologies to integrate presence into the digital space. Through her work with Presence Media and through personal clients, Meghan works with the process of vision embodiment, energetics, nervous system regulation, and inner capacity building. She is a mom of two beautiful boys, lives between Canada and Australia, and is married to her soulmate of 20 years. Welcome, Meghan. Thank you so much for being here today.
Oh, I'm so glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Beautiful. So, first thing I want to talk about, because something that I see that's in alignment for us is a mission for millions and a passion to really connecting with a large audience across the globe. So, can you speak to the impact and the belief in being able to connect to such what people would think is such a large and even unfathomable number?
Mm, yeah, and I feel like it really just starts with, first of all, connecting with what you're here to say and what you're here to do. And then it really starts with the intimacy in an individual level, right? Like if I think we start with thinking about, I'm going to impact millions and this is what it's going to look like. That's so overwhelming to the system. And the mind is like, what? Like, how is that going to happen? But I think when we really tune into the bigness of our movement, what we're truly being called to do, and we let it initiate us, and we become the version of ourselves that is embodied in that new way. And so I talk about vision embodiment. When we become that, and then we go out into the world, and in every interaction we have, we transmit that energy, we transmit that message, the ripple ripples. And I always, when I'm working with clients, and I think it's really great to have the desire to speak on stages and publish books and generate income. I think it's really nice to want to experience that in this lifetime. But I don't feel like that's the place to start. I really feel like it is like the impact that you make in every present moment. And if that is part of your path, to speak on stages, to be the next Gabby Bernstein, then, trusting the divine unfolding will take you there. But always just showing up in the moment in the highest alignment with your vision is where to start.
I love that. And I love the permission to like kind of like scale back in a sense where it's like, okay, yes, you have this huge dream and that's wonderful. Can you carry this dream every single moment? Because it's so easy to be like, okay, well, I want to impact millions. How do I do that? I don't know. Do I even know a million people? My following looks like this. And then you put yourself in this down spiral, and then you're no longer the embodiment of your dream. So it's so perfect the way you placed it of like, can you impact moment to moment? And just the divine is going to allow it all to show up for you and put the opportunities in front of you. So that is just perfection and total alignment in my thoughts as well. Um, can you speak on your personal journey? I find that most people kind of start off with like, a corporate job and doing the thing, and then somehow the energetics works their way in. So can you tell us about your journey and how you integrated this work for yourself?
Yeah. I mean, oh gosh, there's so many different journeys I could speak to, but I guess my journey of, coming in to do the work that I'm doing with Presence Media and working with leaders, I've never had a corporate job. I've always been an entrepreneur. I did have a lot of just like random jobs in my 20s, but I've always been the type of person that just very creative, receives an idea and is like, how do I actually make this turn into a business? So I've had, multiple businesses myself, from a yoga business, a health coaching business, an event business. I was in real estate. Um, but really, like, Presence Media has been an evolution, and it was really rooted initially with the desire to support women in sharing their voice. And so when I launched it in its first iteration back in 2017, it was a blog, and it was all about people sharing their message, sharing their healing journey, and with the desire to really connect these women and share their stories. And that then evolved into a membership community, which then evolved into providing digital marketing services. My background is marketing, so I've got a degree in marketing, and I've worked for agencies and brands, so that all comes really naturally to me. Yeah, so it evolved from blog to membership to digital agency, and then just through the process of evolution and refinement, and who do I truly desire to serve? It's come into its current iteration of Presence Media, and yeah, and it continues to expand. And I think that's when we truly listen to how our missions want to evolve. They're always shifting and changing, right?
Mhm.
And so I where I am right now is where I am, and I continue to be guided by the vision of the entity of Presence Media, because I believe our businesses actually carry their own energy too, and also my unique soul assignment and why I'm here.
Mm. That feels so good. Can you speak to your practice in trusting your intuition and hearing your soul guide and hearing the entity of your business? And is it something that you've kind of always followed, or did you have to cultivate that?
I definitely had to cultivate that. Yeah, I would say until my mid 20s, I lived from like the neck up. And so every idea that I had was an idea, but it wasn't something that I like discerned through the truth of my body.
Mm.
So descending into my body was a journey, and still is a journey. It's so easy for us to get swept up in the ongoings of our external world, but the truth of our business lives in the cells of our body, and that's the same about the entity of our business. It is felt and it is experienced in the space between. And so it's a constant practice to make space in my life, to come back to stillness. And I'm not always, executing that in an expertly, but I do have practices that work with my cycles, that create space, every day to drop in and really become present to the truth of the matter, and to the truth of what's going on, and really listening and responding to what my clients need. What is the market? What is the industry saying? How am I uniquely positioned in this moment to serve? How can I elevate what I'm doing? So I'm constantly, asking these big questions and creating space to receive the answer through my body, through nature. And I feel like that's really the secret superpower of success, is that deep listening and response, instead of letting the mind and the ego and the industry kind of hijack how it should be. It's really about coming to our own truth, and then having the courage to be able to respond and take action.
Mm. And saying that, going on that thread, if we're following our soul, so to speak, and bringing that into like the digital strategy. Someone could say, well, TikTok is being banned. You need to move to another platform. or blogs are outdated, you need to start this. But like maybe your soul is calling for something different. Maybe you want to start a blog because you don't want to talk or whatever it may be. What would you say in those kind of situations? Would you say like follow with the industry or follow your heart?
Yeah, I mean, I would say from like a strategic and like a content strategy lens, like this would be my advice to clients is, we're obviously don't rely too strongly on one platform, but how are you being called to create and bring through your message? Is it through writing? Is it through podcasting? Is it through video production? Like pick the format that feels like a fuck yes to your soul and that you create and you like stream more clearly through and nail your messaging. Like, what are you here to say? How does that serve the people, that you're speaking to? How do you really bring your expertise through and relate it to a human matter? And then from there, it's like, okay, well, let's pick our channels. And so if, say, video is our thing, well, we're probably going to want to have a YouTube channel to start with. And then if we want to chop that up and repurpose it for TikTok, that's available to us as is Instagram. So it's like content strategy to me is all about the creative process and how do we really leverage our gifts and stream our messaging in the clearest way while being omnipresent. I'm all about omnipresence in the online space. So just being present where your people are in a way that is going to really resonate and connect with the hearts of the humans.
Hmm, I love that. So, in terms of being where your people are, what if you're talking to someone that's like, I don't know, I don't have an audience. How would you kind of guide them to find their people?
Yeah, that's a good question. And some of my clients, they're not even on social media. They might have like a successful bricks and mortar practice and
Mhm.
they come to me and they want to, create online programs and offerings, but they're not going to be on social media because it's not natural to them. And so there's always a natural way. And I think we overcomplicate it and we try to, do these cookie cutter strategies, but there's always like most natural way. And often it's overlooked because it's so simple. So I would say to somebody that has like absolutely no audience, maybe they're just getting started, first of all, really clarifying their value and what they're here to say and speak about and sell. And then often it's, if they have a natural desire and they're passionate about coming online and coming on social media, then we'd look at, again, their creative process. What content are they creating? What channels? And then there's growth strategies for different channels. But some people just do better in person too. And I think there's a resurgence of the in real life connection. So there's opportunity to build an audience in a lot of different ways, but I think it does depend on the unique individual, their gifts, what they desire to do, because you can't force somebody to be consistent on Instagram if they hate being on social media, right? That's like a recipe for disaster. So I think it does take a lot of really listening and understanding our natural gifts and then creating a strategy and an audience building plan based on that.
Beautiful. I think um give me 1 second to flip my internet really quick. Do, 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 do. Switch to my hotspot.
You're back. Are you back? Hi, you're back.
I'm back. Sorry about that. Uh, the internet was unstable for a second there. I
Okay.
apologize. So, the last thing I heard you say was resurgence. And we were talking about
Audience building.
Audience building, yes.
Yeah.
So if you can find a thread and pick up there, we can edit it and figure and bring it all together.
Yeah, it's not everybody needs to have a massive audience. I think
Yes.
again, like we're being sold this way in where we all need to have these big missions and these huge audiences and make tons of money and speak on stages, and that's actually not the sole desire of everybody. And so I think when we really tune into like, what is our way of impact? What is our way of truly being of service? A lot of people will find maybe it is in my local community. Maybe it is in creating these events in real life and just being the go-to in my community. And so audience building doesn't necessarily have to look like growing an epic email list and, having a huge social media following. It can, but again, it's the natural way. It's what's most natural for the human, what feels good to them. How do they actually want to spend their days? Do they want to be on stories every single day, connecting with an audience, or would they rather be out in their community, connecting to the needs of the real humans in their life? So it's us really getting in touch with how do I actually want to spend my life and my day? Like what truly, truly matters to me.
Mm, I love that. And so something that came up for me in that sense. So yes, I believe that we don't need a huge audience in order to be successful, especially in the business world. But can you speak to, okay, well, if I have a quote unquote minimal audience and I want, to make a livable income, especially in somewhere like LA, like I live. Um, what would you say to, okay, well, I'm trying to help my local community and how do I price my stuff? How do I show up in a way that is going to be giving to the community while still creating an income stream that affords me a livable life?
Yeah. Yeah, that's real, right? If we are choosing that we want to do this online thing and create our own business and our own brands, really that financial exchange, it has to be there, or else we're just we're just showing up and like giving our hearts and souls and struggling to pay the rent, and that's not thriving, and that's not the world that we're trying to birth here. So I would say step one is always embodying your medicine and really cultivating and developing your expertise in something that people, real humans want. And I deal with a lot of, and have for a long time, like very spiritual people. So it's like sometimes hard to make the services sound tangible. And so
Mm.
that's a trick in itself. But I'm feeling right now and seeing everywhere, like the rise of consciousness is everywhere, and it's actually a lot easier to show the value of offering spiritual services. But I would say, embodying your medicine and your expertise and really understanding your value, and then like it because it's always energy first, and you really need to feel and see yourself as successful and know that you're worthy of that. And so we all have like the wounds of not being worthy enough, so it's about healing that and truly claiming the life that we desire, and that we do have value, and we are here and to make a difference and provide a service that the world needs. So that's step one. And then after that, it's really understanding your audience and what they need and what they'll pay you for, and coming up with that profitable offer. And so I think we can get really caught up in like the perfect business model and like really beautiful marketing and having the best funnel. But what we really need to do first, if like revenue is a priority, which of course it is, it's the lifeblood of a business, is developing one offer that we can sell that people want that will make us money. And then being known for that and really pouring everything in that, and that can take some time, right? That can take some time to really understand what your audience needs. Maybe your audience isn't really who you want to be working with. And this is a big thing, because that energetic match, just like if things aren't flowing, it could be because you're selling the wrong thing to the wrong people. And so, like, who do you truly want to serve? Where are they? How can you connect more with them? How can you create something that they'll actually spend money on? And that is a bit of trial and error. That's really getting to know your audience. That's doing beta tests. Like, I'm such a fan of like beta testing something before you go all in, like getting a wait list, testing the demand before you like devote your year to creating something that you don't even know anybody wants. And so, yeah, coming up with that offer that is what people will pay you for. And then it's all about scaling that up or diversifying. And I am an advocate and of like having multiple tiers of offerings. So have your low ticket one that's a taste of what you do. Have maybe your signature offering, and then have a high touch one-to-one offering that is just like the most epic offering that you can deliver. So all of that, but it all starts with, yeah, you believing in yourself and your energy being clear, connecting with the right audience and developing something that they want. Then we scale it.
Mm, beautiful. I love that. If anyone's interested in working with you, where are the best places to find you?
Well, my agency Presence Media is my love right now. This is my lover. This is my biggest focus and where I'm directing most of my time and energy. So we have a few core services that we provide at Presence Media. One, which we is just out of beta, we launched it last year, and it's just lighting me up so much. Is a 4-month digital identity upgrade. So it's essentially taking you as you are right now, tuning into the highest vision that you're meant to bring through, and then going through, we call it the vision and the void process, because the void is something that needs to be discussed more in the business landscape and just life in general. When we claim something, life initiates us, and that's when there's like a dismantling of everything in our world, and it can be really off-centering. And so in this 4-month digital identity transformation, we're claiming something big. We go through the void. And then we also go through the whole process of developing a new brand. So it's like a rebranding process. You get a new website, digital strategy, content plan, it's everything. So I'm really excited about that. We also offer online business management. So this is for people who have a successful online business already, but are getting too caught up in the operations of it. We essentially take them out and get them to focus on their zone of genius, what their true gifts and medicine are, and we take over all the operations of the business from client support and building all their funnels and social media and everything. Yeah, and then we do social media management too. So that's really where I'm working and spending my energy. I do offer a few spaces for one-to-one mentorship if people want to be held in a really intimate space as they bring their business to life. Um, but yeah, don't have a lot of free time for other things right now.
I love it, and that is extraordinary. So at this time, I would like to offer you a tarot reading. Is there anything in particular that you want the reading on, or are you looking for maybe a general message?
Oh, yeah, let's voice is a big theme for me right now. It's a 3-year numerology. And so I'm all about like sharing my voice. I would love a reading on that.
Mhm. We have a lot of beautiful, I love, so in these colors, I'm using the Light Seers Tarot deck, and we have like this beautiful kind of like sunset theme on in the background of all of the colors that are coming through. So I'm loving this kind of I feel like passion is the energy that comes with these deep reds and purples and yellows that are coming in this energy. So that's something like that sacral kind of vibration is really showing through in this energy. We also have the Four of Wands is the card that comes first. And so in that thread of voice, it is really your voice is a celebration. It is a celebration of what you've been through, what you've experienced, as well as what your magic and medicine is. So it is a way for you to share with the world what is exciting to you, what is able to come forward for you. And so with this chariot, it is your job. It's important for you to lean into your discernment of what is it that you really want to share, going back to your work and what you do and showing up in digital media. It's your messaging, right? So that's time to get clear about what it is that you're showing up for so that you can race to completion of project to project to project to client to continue to grow. Excuse me. We have the Queen of Wands. That's really like this is your energy right here. The Queen of Wands is this like I create, I make, and I continue to grow. And so bringing it all together is really just I don't know. I'm like hearing the angels like singing ah.
I was hearing that too.
I love it. So it's really just you are in this space of pure energy that needs to be shared with the world. So let it out. Even if the note isn't like the best note in terms of singing, right? Like just let it out. It's going to tune to the correct people and bring them forward, bring the opportunities forward. And so that power that comes from your voice is your guiding stone. Like,
Mm,
so there is your
yeah.
message.
Thank you. Ooh,
You're
that feels
welcome.
good. I heard the angels too. It was like, that's funny.
Beautiful. Oh my gosh, Megan, thank you so much for being here with me today. Is there anything else that you want to leave our audience with?
Mm, yeah, presence. That's just the message that feels so alive for me and everyone I'm around. It's like we are living in a busy time. There's a lot going on that can distract us and that, is calling our hearts. And presence is just the portal to coming back into the truth of our heart and we all need more presence in our day and for our businesses to be able to offer ourselves the gift of presence. We can save a lot of time in taking the long path by missteps. And so presence and slowness, I always say, is the quickest path because we take the most precise, powerful actions. So bring more presence into your life and business.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Megan. Yes, drop in, be present, moment to moment, friends. If you want to connect with Megan, definitely check the show notes. All of her links will be shared there, as well as if you want to work more with me, go to mamateenergy.com. And I thank you so much for being here. Remember to subscribe, to share, and I will see you where I see you next. Bye.